Tonight, how a Prince Albert family came to be in possession of their father's service tag from the Second World War. Also, the federal government is encouraging people to make the switch to heat pumps, but how well do those work here? Plus, a thank you from Canada's country queen, how the community of Indian Head came together to help Shania Twain's crew after a bus crash.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, November 10th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. A bomber pilot's service tag from the Second World War has been returned to his family in Saskatchewan, nearly 80 years after it was lost. As Bonnie Allen reports, the family is surprised and touched by efforts to get it home.
So this is the tag that was returned to us.
A service tag that once belonged to his father, Frank Chad, a bomber pilot in the Second World War. A piece of his uniform likely lost 79 years ago at an airbase in England. The small tag now making a big impact on Frank's son, Joe Chad.
I think it's more the story behind how it got here and how it was found by somebody who took the time to track us down.
It was found near this old countryside manor in southern England. During the Second World War, it was used as an Air Force base while a nearby farm was turned into an airstrip. Darren Rigby is a metal detector enthusiast who searched that area earlier this year and found the service tag.
It's nice to know that, this tiny little part of my country had people from over here in the war doing their bit for this country.
With Frank Chad's name so clearly visible, he was able to find Chad's online obituary. Rigby contacted the funeral home in Prince Albert, which connected him to the family.
The luck of it, first of all, him finding it, but for somebody to take the time to go that extra step to find the family or the owners, I thought was pretty amazing. Somebody else might have just thought it was some trinket and threw it away or just left it behind.
I'm just happy that, he got it back.
Rigby is uncomfortable with too much credit.
It makes me feel like I've done something really special, which I haven't. It's not like I've saved someone's life. I've just sent them a piece of something that belonged to them.
Joe has other memorabilia from his father, but Frank Chad rarely talked about the war.
We sort of take a lot of things for granted, but it's caused me to start to do a little bit more research and learn a little bit more about not only my dad, but other veterans.
This tag, dug up by a stranger who cared so much, now inspiring Joe Chad to also dig deeper into his dad's service.
The numbers on the back here correspond with this is Dad's flight bag.
Bonnie Allen, CBC News.
Saskatchewan hit its $10 a day daycare goal, but has been falling short on space demand. That said, 2,349 new childcare spaces were announced today. It's been more than 2 years since the province and the feds signed the Early Learning and Childcare Agreement. At the time, Saskatchewan committed to creating 28,000 new regulated early learning and childcare spaces within 5 years. Today's announcement brings the total to about 5,700 spaces.
Because only licensed spaces are eligible for funding under this agreement, there's a process to try and move some of those unlicensed spaces to licensed. There's a bit of a process to that. So again, it's kind of like building an airplane while you're flying it in the air, which is a little challenging to do.
The new spots are allocated to Métis Nation Saskatchewan and 50 other groups in 41 communities. Métis Nation Saskatchewan is acquiring land in Saskatoon, Prince Albert and Regina to create 90 space centres in each city. A tent city encampment set up at Regina City Hall this summer is long gone, but questions still remain about how the government responded to the camp while it was there. As Alexander Kwan reports, finding those answers has been difficult.
Over the summer, more than 80 tents were set up here, and at least 75 people called it home. CBC has attempted to figure out how the mayor, council, and others responded to a tent city popping up on its front door. We filed access to information requests with the offices of Mayor Sandra Masters, Fire Chief Lane Jackson, and City Manager Nikki Anderson. It's taken months, and we've now obtained dozens of pages of emails, memos, and incident reports about the city's handling of the encampment and its decision to eventually tear it down. But almost all of them are redacted, leaving many unanswered questions about the city's decision-making process. One camp organizer says the lack of transparency isn't a surprise.
So to redact, that's on par with how this city has behaved. And we know that there's lots of great workers that work at the city, and this is not reflective of the work that they do.
Tiro Mutembo says he and others connected to the encampment have also been trying to get answers, with no success. Mayor Sandra Masters says the city has been clear about what happened. When asked whether more transparency is needed,
I don't think so, but I guess I'm curious as what information is it you're looking for?
Mutembo and others say they want to know more about the process that led to tearing down the encampment, including why fire officials stopped keeping them in the loop.
Right before the encampment came to a close, there seemed to be a drastic change. And we were suddenly not being talked to or communicated with by the fire department.
The city of Regina declined repeated requests for an interview with Regina Fire Chief Lane Jackson. Instead, Jackson issued a statement saying a dangerous disregard for serious fire safety violations was what ultimately led to an imminent risk to public safety and his order to tear the camp down. But outside of that, the city says the documents with all the details had to be redacted on advice from officials. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
A grocery store planned for the Midtown Mall in downtown Saskatoon is being scrapped. The owners of Pitchfork Market and Kitchen say it wasn't going to meet completion deadlines. The termination of their lease concludes a turbulent history of the grocery store's plans for Midtown. Some residents who spoke with CBC didn't know there was a store planned for the space. Others were much more upset that a much-needed grocery store wouldn't materialize in the city centre.
Anybody who lives in the city centre, and I'd like to know what the figures are because there must be a lot, okay, with not having a grocery store there is crazy. It also brings in job to the city centre. I mean, the city centre is dying at the moment.
It would have been nice to have it, and it really sucks because I was looking forward to it, but I guess not, and I don't know what else they're going to put in there, but I thought it was a great idea.
Maybe we would use it. Hard to say, you know.
For the people that work downtown, too, they might stop and get groceries before they go home.
Midtown did not respond to CBC's request for comment, but in a statement to other local media, it said Pitchfork failed to meet its lease obligations. A town east of Regina is in the spotlight this week. It comes after some of Shania Twain's crew were involved in a bus crash on the Trans-Canada Highway. Jesse Anton has more on how the community rose to the occasion.
We didn't have to do much conversion in terms of the space. We're already set up to, have a lot of folks seated, and we have some lounging chairs over there. So this was the luggage storage area here, and this became our pseudo buffet.
The Indian Head High School Library transformed into a temporary VIP lounge Wednesday. This after a bus carrying some of Shania Twain's production crew rolled nearby on Highway 1. 13 people were sent to the town's hospital, most for minor injuries. Until they were discharged or transferred, the rest of Twain's crew needed a place to go. So Principal Sean Morris offered up this area.
We got them sanitization stuff. The hospital lent us some toothbrushes, some deodorant, some hygiene items that we thought they might need. And when they arrived, they had that laid out like a buffet, but in a library.
Town Councillor Chris Simpson says typically they would have freed up the hall, but the town was in the middle of a by-election, so this was the next best option.
Our community always seems to jump at chances like this to help out when in need and try to make whoever's here as comfortable and feeling at home as they possibly can.
Morris says they fed about 40 crew members a pancake breakfast and gave them their space. A few hours later, they said their goodbyes and thank yous. Then Morris got a call the next day.
And I just sent it directly to voicemail and continued my meeting. And then post-meeting, I cold called the number back. I didn't check my voicemail as I probably should have. And I inquired as to this was Sean Morris calling, and this number had called me, and I was promptly greeted by, "Hello, this is Shania Twain," on the other line. So as the legend goes, I guess I sent Shania Twain to voicemail inadvertently.
Morris had thought the phone call had tied a bow on things until Twain hit the stage in Saskatoon Thursday night, giving a shout out to the town of Indian Head and telling the crowd about her call with Morris.
And of course, he expressed that they would have done anything to help us, and they did. I'm just so humbled by all of that kindness and generosity.
A public thank you for an intimate gesture. Jessie Anton, CBC News, Indian Head.
Well, it's a tale of two different weather stories in Saskatoon. No snow on the ground today, while those of us in Regina are navigating icy sidewalks and snowy streets. But the south of the province will start to look more like Saskatoon if the forecast holds up. Ethan will have the details after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. There are no signs of further exemptions to the federal carbon tax, and that's bringing heat pumps into the energy conversation. The federal government is bolstering rebates for people who switch from heating oil to heat pumps. And there are people making the switch on the prairies, despite the challenges they face. Ethan Williams has more.
This heat pump is making Catherine Gibson's Regina home warm. It was installed in June after she heard about their growing popularity.
We had an old furnace and we had an even older air conditioner, so it seemed like a no-brainer.
In colder months, heat pumps take in the cold air from outside. It's then pressurized and heated and blown throughout a home. Heat pumps can also cool a home in the summer, just like an air conditioner.
Over here, this is the actual heat pump that goes outside.
This plumbing and heating store manager says he's sold around 24 pumps in Regina this year. He thinks their popularity will only increase.
So a lot of people want to go greener, a little bit better savings on your energy bills. So that's basically the biggest thing right there. It's just clean energy.
Landsman says heat pumps are most effective in milder winter climates. Often an additional heating source like a furnace is needed on the prairies. But one policy researcher says there are newer models that can effectively heat homes in frigid temperatures to a point.
Once it hits -30 or whatever temperature that they no longer can efficiently heat just with the heat pump, the backup resistance heating then kicks in and supplements.
Riddell says because the pumps use electricity, they can cut back on energy bills and greenhouse gas emissions. Still, a report released last year by Natural Resources Canada shows homes in Alberta and Saskatchewan may not save any emissions. That's because both provinces' electrical grids are powered by non-renewable sources like natural gas and coal, and that means homeowners would still pay the federal carbon tax. Heat pumps also cost more to install than furnaces, and with natural gas prices cheap compared to electricity, the report says prairie residents won't save a lot or anything per year on their utilities. The federal government offers up to $5,000 in rebates to install heat pumps and up to $10,000 for those switching from heating oil. But Saskatchewan is one of the only provinces that doesn't have heat pump-specific rebates, something Catherine Gibson is disappointed she couldn't take advantage of.
And this is it here. It's an Ecobee, and it's apparently the ones they're using for heat pumps.
For now, she's making her home as efficient as possible and installing a smart thermostat to save energy and entice future home buyers.
Possibly we won't be able to live in our house as long as I hope we can, but if we have to move out, our house is going to be more valuable.
Ethan Williams, CBC News, Regina.
This weather update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Regina, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And Ethan joins me now. A heat pump would have worked well on a day like today.
Yeah, it sure would have. But, even though it would have been it was a little bit cold in some spots of the province, we definitely saw the sun come out today, which is very nice. And that's not only the case for us, but for much of the prairie provinces, definitely thinning out through Manitoba and some sections as well. But we shouldn't really be all surprised that November has been so cloudy, because for some of us, November is actually our cloudiest month out of all the months of the year, especially If you're in northern Saskatchewan, this, by the way, courtesy of Brian Brettschneider, who's a climatologist in the States who tracks this sort of thing. For Regina, Saskatoon, our November is usually about the 4th cloudiest month. And if you're in the southwest corner of the province, November falls about halfway in terms of cloud cover. And the southwestern part of the province also got the sun today, and it also warmed up nicely into those kind of mid single digits. But you can see the line here on the map. We have a bit of a temperature gradient. We have these mid single digits still in the southwest, but mid minus single digits in places like Prince Albert and Wynyard and even Regina and Moose Jaw, a little bit on the chilly side. And you add a little bit of wind to that, and it does feel a little bit cooler today. We saw some gusts in the south around 40 kilometers an hour, and they're starting to pick up a bit now as a low pressure system passes to the north of the province, and in the north we're seeing some gusts in the 40 to 50 range. But after that system passes by, we will have another mostly sunny day tomorrow. If you're heading to a Remembrance Day ceremony in either Regina or Saskatoon, or really anywhere through the southern half of the province, things should be staying mostly sunny for you. Things a little unsettled into Sunday morning. This weak low pressure system bringing a chance of showers to eastern sections of the southern part of the province, and possibly just a little bit of snow to the north, but no real measurable accumulation there. Another sunny day for the south and central part of the province on Sunday, and then heading into Monday, just a little bit of cloud cover starting to move in. And it will be breezy for ceremonies outside tomorrow. Winds in the 40 kilometer an hour range, picking up a bit again in the southeast of the province. We could see gusts there in the range of 40 to 50. And really, as you notice, through all the province heading into Sunday, things a bit on the breezy side. Now, for Regina, for our extended forecast here, we were expecting things to get quite warm, but what's happening is the snow on the ground is cooling those temperatures back a bit. So the forecast has the highs pulled back from the mid to upper single digits down closer to the freezing mark. And it will be, again, a bit windy through the weekend, but the sunshine here with us and those overnight lows not dropping all that much below the freezing mark. You keep in mind that normal for this time of year is right around 0, and that is pretty much where we're just going to be above, and we're well above in terms of overnight temperatures. Saskatoon, we're looking at, again, mostly sunny conditions, and with less snowfall on the ground, your temperatures just might reach those upper single digits. That sun sticks around into next week, even though the temperatures drop off a little bit here and there. Some portions of western Saskatchewan, Sam, could hit the double digits above 0 by the time we hit Monday.
And it's November.
And it's November.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Stay with us. We have more news after the break. Many people in the province this weekend will celebrate Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, which is coming up on Sunday. It's a celebration that includes a lot of food. And that food and much more can be found at Desi stores, specialty grocery stores that carry items from many South Asian countries. In this video for the CBC Creator Network, filmmaker Aisha Mohsin takes us inside some of them, and here's how they are also building community.
It always fascinates me that people from so many different cultures, countries and backgrounds find a common ground for conversation in a Desi store. It is because when we are in our homeland, we are Pakistanis, Bangladeshi, Indian, Sri Lankan, etc. But when we are in Canada, we all come under one umbrella that is called Desi.
That I am from Punjab, and all the local stores, general stores over here, they store basically the ingredients which are known to the Punjabi community, like which are basically very much enjoyable in my community, like my culture. But when I moved here, I not only, because over here, that's the beauty about the Canada, what I can see. We have people from Punjab, we have people from Gujarat, South India, East, West, Bangladesh, Pakistan.
Specifically, all food items. I'm gonna miss my mother, so here I can find all the Desi products, food products. You can feel like you are eating the food prepared by your mother.
Desi store can be a place of comfort and nostalgia for some, as it reminds them of home and familiar environments.
The aroma kinds of remind me about back home. When we go to a store, it's kind of the same feeling when we come to this store here, like especially in the Desi store.
Sometimes I come here with my friends. When my mom and dad, they visit me, like they did last week. We came here just to get some stuff for Pinnia. So that's when I came here to buy some alsi, like flaxseed, and some coconut and stuff.
Desi stores in Regina are much more than just a shopping store. This is a place for friendship, making connections and understanding each other's culture. I visited many Desi stores in Regina to find out what makes it special for the community.
We sell every basic needs for Indians and Asians. So basically we sell fresh vegetables, some utensils, some puja items, and fresh snacks, and some other daily needs. So before we were only knowing Gujarati community people because I'm Gujarati, but right now I'm having good relations with every other community over here.
These stores can provide special food items to accommodate the needs of diverse communities and customers, which includes halal meat. It is processed and certified to follow Islamic law and is consumed by observant Muslims.
We mostly sell Pakistani foods, and this is also halal foods, and we are focusing only on ready-to-eat foods. And our mainly product is fresh naan. So, and we are producing more different kinds of naan, just like chapati, sesame seeds naan, taftan, and different kinds of naan.
Desi store can be a starting point for many newcomers to navigate the city, collect resources, and develop early connections.
My name is Tiba Zanoon, and I work here as a part-timer at Regina Halal Meat Bakery and Grocery Store. It's a multicultural store, so we have all sorts of people coming in our store, such as Middle Easterns from Iraq, Syria, Jordan, and we have Asians from like Pakistan, India, Koreans, Chinese.
Saskatchewan is a place full of diversity. Desi stores not only serve Desi communities, it is a welcoming place for everyone who shops there and experiences the diversity through the smells of blends of spices, sights of various cultural identities, and sounds of different languages. It can be a place to learn about different cultures and celebrate food that brings us all together as Canadians.
That story was done by Aisha Mohsen for the CBC Creator Network. If you're a young digital creator with a story to tell, we want to hear from you. Find out how to pitch by going to cbc.ca/Creator Network SK. And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
And a little breezy tomorrow in Regina as we start the day at -5. Again, that sun should be sticking around for us, but wind going to make it feel around -12. If you are headed to Remembrance Day ceremonies tomorrow morning around 11 a.m., we will be at the freezing mark, but again, a little bit of wind make that feel a bit chillier, but still sunny. For Saskatoon, again, a similar thing here, waking up around -4 and a bit breezy. And for you folks, if you're heading out to a ceremony around 1 degree, just over the freezing mark, and looking at some sunny skies, but those winds close to 40 at times. And of course, as you've just heard, it is Diwali this weekend, and in Saskatoon, where you can have fireworks on Diwali for the first time this year. We're looking at a temperature of around 0 degrees at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and those skies, Sam, should be nice and clear for those fireworks.
Yeah, you don't have to wait like in summertime till 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly, so early now.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And that's it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/Sask, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or go download the CBC News app. Ethan and I will be back with more local news and weather at 11, and then we're back Tuesday at 6. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.